Okay, so this is going to be a short video on a TikTok. So this young lady is going off on the illusion of the American economy. When you turn on TV, they say the economy's going up and up and up. Everything's fine. But when you ask the average worker, they are more stressed than ever. They are more financially strained than ever. They can afford less and less every single month. This is the reality of the American economy. So I'm going to play this video and give my thoughts and just try to break this stuff down.
So, hey guys. I've been on here before and I've talked about this stuff. Um, and quite honestly, it feels kind of good to just like say what I'm thinking. But I just can't wrap my head around how people that are working and making more than we've ever made, why are we struggling and why are we only making enough to pay our bills? I don't understand that. And I can't wrap my head around the fact that it's not just me, it's everyone. You feel.
So listen, pay attention to that. She said it's not just her, it's everyone. So if everyone is struggling to pay rent, to pay bills, and they in the media are saying everything's fine on their end, they are completely oblivious to the average American's plight. That's why it's important not to watch the mainstream media, to not watch CNN, Fox News, because they will give you a skewed perception on reality and they will make things seem better than it actually is. Okay, the average American is going bankrupt with bills, student loans, rent, cell phone bills, gas, all this stuff adds up every month. And people are only paid so much. So you either have to cut down on things, you have to spend less, skip meals. I think there was a survey that said like 1 in 3 Americans are skipping meals, which is absolutely insane because just like 20, 30 years ago, this would have been unthinkable to skip a meal. Imagine your parents saying, "No, I'm not going to feed you today." 20, 30. Imagine your parents in the 80s saying, "I'm not going to feed you today. It's too expensive." They would have freaking took her kid away because that's child abuse. But now it's so common for parents, young adults, everyone in general, the elderly, to just skip meals, not eat, because they're so stressed, so utterly just worn out with this rigged fucking system.
Feel alone in the moment, but it's not just me. It's everyone. Everyone's struggling. And if they aren't, I'm sure they are. But the economy is killing people mentally. And I'm a very positive person. Like the sun is shining, I have a roof over my head. I'm grateful for everything that I have. I truly am. But it doesn't make it easier. It doesn't make the mental thoughts and the overthinking and you know all of it, it doesn't take it away, and it doesn't ease your mind. It doesn't. But I'm from a blue collar family. We've been comfortable. We've, all of that. We have food in the fridge. But right now, me and my family, we're making enough to pay our bills with maybe $100 left to spare.
So $100 left to spare. That's not living at all. I mean, I'm assuming there's multiple people living in her household. Um, at least two people, and it doesn't seem like she's living in a mansion, nothing too fancy. And still, even when I'm assuming she's working full time, even when working full time, she could barely pay her bills, pay just barely get by. And and that opens up a huge gateway of stress. Your mental health is constantly thinking, oh, will I have enough to freaking pay this or that or that? And people shouldn't live like this, not in a country that is said to be the richest country in the world. And look, they're giving billions to Ukraine, billions to Israel, billions to every other country except Americans. So Americans have become the cash cow, the cash crop, the new slaves of the world. And we're paying for everything. Our politicians don't listen to us on anything. Our quality of life is so bad, just bad. Like when you really think about it, if you see how some people live, you're like, is that really a life worth living? Being like single, 50 years old, living in a studio apartment, not having enough money saved for vacation, not having any money saved for retirement, not having any community, not having any nothing, literally nothing but freaking Netflix and maybe fast food if you're lucky. That's life.
And that's not cutting it. It's not, you can't live like that. And it's just like you pay your bills, right? And you have whatever you have left over. But you can't save. There's no saving unless you're making way more money than you're making now, and you're already making more than you've ever made. So how are we all getting by? This world doesn't make sense to me anymore, genuinely. I went to the grocery store and I got
Yeah, how are we getting by? Because if you're only having like $100 left over at the end of the month, and let's say you have to go to the hospital, how the hell are you supposed to pay your hospital fees? How are you supposed to pay surprise emergencies? You can't. People end up going bankrupt from whether it's hospital visits or dentist fees. It's a huge scam. It's a huge scam.
got 4 bags of groceries and it was $110. That's insane. Gas has gone down where I am, but it's still outrageously expensive. I have 100 gallons getting delivered of propane to my house, and it's $380. 100 gallons, right? $380. That's outrageous. The cost of living is so out of pocket expensive that I really genuinely don't know if we're ever going to get out of this. And I think that's a problem. I think that it's a problem that middle class is really struggling, and yet people are getting things handed to them. People that don't deserve it.
Yeah, the middle class is dead. If you grew up in a middle class family or an upper middle class family, it's extremely likely that you will grow up poorer than your parents because everything is more expensive, which means it's harder to save. Like, let's say if you want to save up and start your own company or business, whatever, how are you going to save the money to buy that new truck? Let's say you want to be a trucker and you want to buy a new truck. How the hell are you supposed to do that? And you can't save money. It's not possible for a lot of people. And I'm just going to be real. It's not possible for a lot of people. Some people are just fucked. It's like a game of musical chairs. There's only so many chairs, but there's way more people. If you guys know anything about how this country is run, and if you guys know anything about central banking, where there's always more debt than there is currency that's in circulation, so there will always be people that are poor. There will always be a huge subset of society that are poor. And over the last recent years, it's only gotten infinitely worse. Why? Because the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer, the people up top aren't fulfilling the interest of the majority of Americans and instead only listening to their rich buddies. So yeah, things are getting worse. And I don't think it will be fixed anytime soon. Things will get much worse before they get better.